Car sales in Russia have plummeted 36% in the first quarter of 2015, and obviously on the back of the economic sanctions that have been imposed, also as a result of the major devaluation of the ruble. You have to bear in mind, however, that the market was never going to perform especially well due to the withdrawal of the incentives that ended in December 14. The sales are down 36% in the first quarter, but looking forward, I do envisage a slight improvement on that base. We've had this pull forward demand into a tail end of 14, and obviously that's had a major impact on the first quarter. But over and above that, the Russian government has now pledged 10 billion rubles in subsidies for the industry. So that should support demand to a certain extent. And there are also speculation that they may resurrect the car buying incentives that ended in December. So either way, we should see some form of improvement in the market. I know most industry observers have been talking about a decline of 30 to 35% for the full year. As it stands, we're looking at a projection of about a decline of 27%. Bear in mind that Opel has actually lost 80% of sales in the first quarter. And understandably, even though they're very much reviewing their position in Russia with a keen interest to maintain profitability. Now, I can understand the rationale, given that massive loss of sales. Also bear in mind the Russian market is premiumizing quite quickly. And so General Motors is taking the view that ultimately they're going to focus on more upscale models like the Chevrolet Tahoe, the Corvette, and the Cadillac range. Now, all of that makes sense to me, but given the long-term prospects for Russia, I am slightly concerned that it's a bit of a short-term knee-jerk reaction. As far as dealerships are concerned, though, I think it's inevitable with those sort of losses that some dealerships will close, but I can certainly envisage many others being converted and becoming franchises of brands that are, I can't say performing well, but let's say not suffering anywhere near as much. And by that, you've got some of the mainstream brands that essentially meet local content guidelines. So the likes of Ford, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Renault, Toyota. But also I would imagine there'll be some keen interest from the Chinese players who may see this situation as an advantage to gain traction in the market. Russia does still have a solid growth as far as the middle classes are concerned. I mean, based upon our view on the development of household incomes, I can still envisage the Russian market being 3 million plus units from the 2020s onwards. You've also got to bear in mind that, the Russian market collapsed by about 50% in 2009, and already by 2012, it was back to pre-crisis levels. So it is a very volatile market, we know that, but assuming, and I can't comment on that myself, but assuming that we have a return to economic and political stability, then the long-term potential is still reasonable. And I do wonder if GM may ultimately regret their decision, or at least make a U-turn and return to the market with brands such as Opel sometime in the distant future.